All right. So this is kind of talk about two different games, I Hate Fish and Hill Climb Racing 2, and how the projects went, and especially what went wrong. So this might be a little bit depressing, but in the end, there's some gold maybe. All right. So this is just here to remind to me to introduce myself. So I'm Ville Rauma from Fingersoft, uh, Chief Operating Officer. Um, I've been working on games for 10 years. A lot of what Patrick was saying was resonating me with quite a lot because we were also doing a card-based MMO back in like, I don't know, 2005 maybe, something like that. So it was quite familiar. Yeah, and so let's go to the topic. So first, a small introduction about our company. So we are a mobile development studio, game development studio, and also a publisher. And we've been publishing games for since 2013. We're based in Oulu, Finland. We have now 31 employees. Actually, that's out of date, and we are still hiring. So that's going well. And we've actually restructured the company last year. So basically now most of our employees are part owners. So that's really nice. And we've developed 3 titles so far, which is so the Hill Climb Racing basically started by just Tony Fingerroos by himself making this game, which became a huge success, and then the company grew from there. The second game, I Hate Fish, which we will go into very much detail, failed, and we pulled it last year, and then now we released Hill Climb Racing 2 before the end of the year, November last year, which has gone really well. We've developed or published many third-party titles, so basically, other studios who make the games, and then we just do the easy part, which is putting it to the store and getting some customers and stuff like that. So some of those which actually worked were Fail Hard Benji and Make More. And actually our marketing guys told me to say nearly 1 billion downloads now because it's 600 million. So so maybe I say 0.6 billion because I'm a programmer by background. So I don't like to be unspecific. All right, so into the meat of the thing. So I Hate Fish. So the background for this project is that we had this huge title, Hill Climb Racing, going well, money coming in, things working. But of course, we wanted to do something new game. Our developers get bored, get angry. They have to be making new stuff all the time. So we had this small team of 5 developers, and they were mostly new guys. Guys who didn't have a long background in gaming. I think we only had like maybe 3 guys who had actually been working on games that got published before. So really like new people. And also the company itself, was founded 2013. So things weren't really, well thought out or working that well. We were just, learning how to manage this kind of business because it's, even though you don't believe it, but when money starts coming in, it does create a lot of problems. You have to have all of these kind of, like people like me now, going around and doing strange things. Like talking and drinking, mostly. Yeah. And also, when we started the project, the management attitude was basically that, okay, it's a new team, let's, just get it going, give them a lot of room, let them make mistakes, because that's how you learn, and, don't touch it, that's what I try to always say, that if it's working, don't go meddling, from management side, but in there, except when not, you will soon learn why, what happened next. All right. So, okay, here's what we started from. Simple concept, underwater, submarine team, avoid obstacles, skill-based gameplay, upgrade your ship, a little bit like in Hill Climb Racing, get good. Simple, let's go from there. And so here are some, like, how the kind of story went. So the team started working on the game, and maybe 2 months in, the team lead, who actually was the guy who came up with the concept, has to move to another project, which is actually making money, and things get complicated. And there's a new guy starts as a team lead, which, of course, making games is not really democratic. It has to be somebody's vision and idea. So instantly, the direction of the game starts to change. So what you saw in the concept, we will see soon where it went, but not there. Also, team gets really motivated after this. They work on it for 3-4 months. There's no real progress. There's things just don't click, don't work. And finally, after the Finnish summer holidays in the fall, like basically management says that, okay guys, this is not working. You have to decide, kill the game or finish the game or do something, because this is not the way to go. And they're really conflicted. They're talking there, and I think it took a while, like a week or something, of meetings for them to decide what to do with it, because there was a lot of effort put into it. It kind of looked kind of nice, kind of worked, but it wasn't there. So, but they still kind of, okay, we want to release this game because it's a new team. A lot of them don't have any titles published, under their belt, anything like that. So they want to really get this out. So they have something to show for it. So okay, let them do that. But there's a deadline. Get it out by Christmas. It's actually an internal joke of ours. Everything has to be ready by Christmas. But yeah. And in the end, like after we decided that okay, the game will get done and will get pushed out, the original guy who came up with the idea comes in as a producer. So just weekly meetings, seeing from the outside, are things working? Are they getting finalized? Basic stuff. But finally, the game does get done, and it's a difficult crunch time. Although we don't like crunches, we try not to do them, but never seems to work out. So there's always a crunch. All right, let's see. I don't know how can I show the video with this? Tech guys. Which button? Here. Maybe. No. This doesn't. Yeah. No. I think I need like a mouse to click the thing, because there isn't any. I don't know. Can you guys? It's basic. No, it's not. It's a YouTube link basically, because it's in the PowerPoint, and you just have to click the video. It will play, at least on desktop. All right. Maybe I'll just skip that then. It would have been like nice. Well, whatever. It was a nice looking game. Sorry about that. If we go into details, so we got quite nice install numbers when the game launched. So something 350K installs in 1 month, which is quite nice. And we did cross promotion. We didn't do any user acquisition on that game. It was basically just our own network and organic. And our lifetime, 2 years or so, it got some 1.5 million downloads. But the whole thing kind of didn't work out from the start. We immediately saw that people were playing, but then they were uninstalling quite quickly. Retention was bad. We were not making any money. And also, the stickiness factor, like we say these days, was really bad. So basically, there would have been so much work to fix it that didn't make sense. And also, well, maybe you could have fixed it, but there was no will. The team basically, I don't know, that they just gave up on it. And finally, maybe 10% of the development cost was generated in revenue. So, a bust. And actually, which is important, I think, here is that the game lingered. Like we didn't have the will. We didn't do a real post-mortem. We didn't really talk about the game that much. It was just this painful, dark past that you don't want to mention, and that's really bad. You have to process these things to be able to move on. Yeah, so some takeaways from there. I think you should have like a process of checking how the project is going, because when you're inside the bubble in the game development team, you don't see the things in the same way that other people from the outside are seeing it. So either you see that things are progressing, going well, or not, and then something has to be done. So we have this new process that we're trying out, that every 2 weeks there are these kind of gates you have to go through, check out if things are going in the right direction. Or that it doesn't really matter what the process is. You just have to have something that works for your company, for your people. The team lead. So you'll see soon in the next project we learned nothing. So basically, but basically team lead. I think is basically in a role of a dictator, but of course they're taking all the feedback from the team. It's not. You don't, well, maybe some guys like Molinex only like don't listen to anybody and just make the game they want. I don't know, but I think still the final word, because otherwise nothing will get done. If you just mull over it, forever, it's not gonna work. And team ownership, so that's more like a feeling of things when you talk to the developers in the team. It's like, it's very easy to kind of hear it, and it's nothing specific. It's more like if the guys are saying to you like, I don't know, like, things are, okay, and I have my task in my, whatever project management tool you use or whatever, and it's not positive, it's not going anywhere, even from the talk, then you probably something is wrong. Like we didn't realize it at the time, but clearly there was. Of course, each project has ups and downs. It's not like you go somewhere and it's smooth sailing in any project, at least one that I've ever been into. So, yeah. Do the postmortem. We didn't. This is actually it for I Hate Fish. so I'm now outing all the pains that we have. So maybe we can be better in the future. But of course, in the end, the team advanced a lot. There were lots of skills gained, and there's actually image of the game itself. So you can see that it's an arcade shoot 'em up game, which would have been showing in the video, but it's nothing like an avoidance game of. so yeah, the end result was nothing like the concept. And of course, having a game released, it's a mental thing. You have a game released, even though we pulled it, they still made it. It still got out. People still played it. So I think that's important, at least for us. All right. So yeah, this is a big thing. Like when you go into a project like this is first for me, of course, and I think for most people, you rarely get the chance to do a sequel to a hugely popular title. Like we're talking about hundreds of millions of people who have played the original game. It's there. You can't change it. You have to kind of be able to develop it into a direction which is a lot of the same. I think our CEO says that 80% is copying and then 20% is adding something new in game development. So that's the kind of starting point. So what we started with was, of course, now we had actually done one game with that team. And we also hired new recruits who actually had more development experience. They had a successful title. We kind of bought the smaller company and put those guys to work for us. But of course, adding new people just at the start of the project, it's complicated, but still, they were there. The I Hate Fish failure was, of course, fresh in memory because we just stopped working on that, and it was painful and never, really gone through. Also, an interesting thing, we didn't really feel we were making Hill Climb Racing 2 in the beginning. It was actually called Hill Climb Racing WC as a working name, so maybe Europeans can understand the joke there. But yeah, it was just a working title. And there was this motto which maybe shows how scared we were that do not cannibalize the players in the original game, because that was working, generating lots of money. So yeah, that was the starting point. So here's the concept. It was actually made with the Hill Climb Racing 1 engine. We use Cocos 2DX. And this was the first game is on really old version, which we've hacked quite a lot. So it's Cocos 2DX version 2 something, and then our modifications. And we just made the concept that it should be competitive. It should have some kind of multiplayer because people were asking for that all the time in our support. It should have leaderboards. Everybody wants leaderboards in a car game. And also people were asking, they wanted to have customizations, the drivers, the cars, stuff like that. So it was quite clear what kind of game we were making, like even from the start. And actually, we did the prototype, or actually one guy made the prototype, and it took like 2 weeks. And all the basic things were there. But it's now 2 years from that, so maybe a little bit more went into it. But everything seems kosher. We're fine. Let's be ready by Xmas, Christmas once again. Not. Here are some funny pictures of the original prototype. There's Team Fat and Team Drunk. Maybe our developers are in either one, so yeah. Yeah. So the original prototype, like I said, took just 2 weeks to do. So looked good. And new employees just came in, so we put everybody straight to work, which was a mistake. We just went to production mode with the 2-week prototype and thought this is fine, this is going to be good. And the pressure to release basically came from within the company because we had the first Hill Climb Racing game, but it was Tony's game. He made it. It was not the team's game because they were working on it, of course, making content, but they didn't feel like they owned the game. So it's a different mindset. So they wanted to make their own game, and also, of course, from the company owner, maybe it's been a few years. Maybe some new games would be nice. It's a game company. So yeah. So there was pressure to make something. And then strange things happen. CEO decided he wants to be the lead designer for the game in like maybe first quarter of the project. He's actually a programmer and game designer by trade originally. But as maybe with CEOs that it doesn't work like that. You go to places and you forget everything and never actually do anything. So yeah, he faded out, and then people got back to the real work. And one big thing was that there was this big fight basically about the direction of the game in mid 2016, which was about should we be more niche, more competitive, or less competitive, more casual? And it was a very difficult question because there weren't any way to tell which direction would be better. So basically, it was just an ongoing discussion. And then, like I said, I hate fish. Yeah, team lead just burnt out, left for vacation for a few months. So a new guy takes the role. Seems like a pattern is forming here. And the guy was one of the kind of leaders of this group that wanted to make it more casual rather than more niche. And the original team lead wanted to make it more niche and less casual. So that was basically decided by that. Also, by the end of or near the summer of 2016, once again, management was saying we should be ready by Christmas. So, now it's a real deadline. You have to make it because it's been like a year by that point. But in the end, the things actually started kind of going well from there, towards the end, that because there was a concrete deadline, people were, the sprints were going better, people were, real progress was being made, and you could see that in each build that you got into your hands. That oh, whoa, there's new things are working, and the final thing was we had a closed beta first, and we actually had a false name for the game as well. It was called Awesome Racing, and we used that, and people were sending us messages. Are you for real? You call your game Awesome Racing? Yeah, that's the name. But that was just, to fool people. You would never have figured out that this is Hillclimb Racing. Yeah, and in the end, like, I was totally convinced, before the launch that this is gonna go well. It was like, when I got the build, it was just so much fun that the team was maybe skeptical, of course, but being a developer, it's kind of in your nature. And once again, I would have a video here, and I can see the play button, by the way, in the monitor. Yeah, okay. So yeah, but you can go to YouTube and check out the trailers. They're at our Fingersoft YouTube channel. So let's. Yeah. Yeah, so takeaways from the project. So I kind of broke this up into a few different categories, and this is much better than the I Hate Fish because we actually had a post-mortem for this game. So we had a big 3-hour discussion which almost didn't end because everybody had so much to say about the things that went wrong. So I could probably, speak to you an hour about all the things that went wrong, but I took some takeaways there. So for management, set realistic goals. The initial deadline was stupid. There was never any way that the game would have been ready by then because the team themselves, they kind of didn't even take it seriously because they thought it was so unrealistic. So they were like, yeah, that's the Christmas thing again, whatever. For us, setting some kind of financial or popular or some goals which are tangible that you can, try to achieve. So we didn't set any goals basically except that, of course, we have to make an awesome game, but it's easier to focus if you have some kind of goals which are tangible, which you can, like, let's say KPIs, maybe our previous game, like average revenue per user is this, maybe we want to improve that to something else, beyond what it is. And of course, consistent management approach, that didn't happen there. We were really inconsistent. We meddled with things, and the CEO being the designer for a while doesn't make any sense. So yeah, that's maybe for me and our management team lesson there. For graphics and UX design, we did the UI UX redesign 3 times. Full production values, insane, but we did it with the game engine and everything. Not good. Yeah, there's loads of tools and ways to design UI UX without actually having to do it in the engine. And art director in our case, Tuomas is Soukka is an awesome guy. He knows his stuff. But when when he was trying to find the style for the game, he was kind of really annoyed that everybody has an opinion. When you see a screenshot of the style, you're like, I like that, I don't like that, whatever. So it got really complicated, and of course the owner comes every now and then, visit the office, and I don't like that. And then he's like, oh fuck, I have to do this all over again. So yeah, not cool. Yeah, they let the people do their stuff, who know about it. Of course they take feedback, but yeah. Game design side, we messed up about the metagame and monetization design. They are really, really hard. We were kind of really overconfident about the metagame because it's a simple card game. How hard can it be to make a metagame for that? And that's why it took like almost 2 years to make the game. We were doing everything in the engine. Didn't really have proper like a process of designing things beforehand. Actually, I think, well, at some point they did come up with the Excel for the economy of the game, and that's what you have to have. Without the Excel sheet, there's nothing. And tools aspect, of course, this is difficult for mobile games because we never know how things turn out. But at least consider about the artist who's making the stuff, the actual content, because if it's too difficult, too cumbersome, then it takes too long for you to make updates. It's really, these days, some people say you would have to do like every 2 weeks a content update or something. People have short attention spans in mobile. But anyway, take the tools aspect into account. Validation, so basically, test the game with real players as soon as possible, and whatever, use fake name, like in our case, because it was an IP, we didn't want to put out Hill Climb Racing that was crap. So that's why we used a fake name. But if it's a new game, maybe it doesn't matter. Closed betas are easy to do. So I would suggest doing that. Also, we used 1 month for closed beta and 1 month for soft launch, but that clearly wasn't enough. We actually had real big technical difficulties when we launched, because the game was so popular that our servers got overloaded and crashed, and we went over all the limits of the I/O, like the like physical hard drives that we used, the SSDs there couldn't cope with the kind of architecture that we had in place. So there were issues which would have been possible to see beforehand if you had just grown the user base more gradually and not just put it out there by Christmas. Of course, Christmas is nice. We sell a lot of IAPs in Christmas time. Everybody knows that. And do the postmortem. I would say that's not even optional. You just have to do those, because otherwise, even though everybody knows what went wrong from their perspective, unless you share it, talk about it, other people don't see that it's the same way. So it was really awesome discussion, and we had a really good time going over all these failures that we had. But in the end, not too bad, I would say. Money-wise as well, we're like 3-4 times better monetization than the first game. All the numbers are good, so I would say well done for the team. But we can always do better, so that's why, hopefully the next project won't be as painful. Maybe they will all be painful. There's never gonna be a project that's gonna be easy and just go like that. So yeah, I think I went a little bit fast. There I am, hungover, and now as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Ville. Very, very interesting speech. Any questions? Is it possible to see the trailer? That's a question for you guys.
I can come and search for you in
If
YouTube.
not, the trailer is on YouTube.
Yeah, I should have used my own computer.
Sorry? Give us a
sure.
minute. Any other question in the meantime? So when is
question.
Hill Climb Racing 3 coming out?
Yeah, no, it's well, we think about these games as a service. It's not.
You ever thought about going into 3D rather than?
Not really, no. Like it's we do prototypes all the time. Like we have this internal prototyping team making new game prototypes, every other week or something. And some of those are 3D. We don't really limit it. It's not a thing, but in Hill Climb Racing, it's really the core of the thing is so clear that it's maybe I wouldn't think that's gonna be in 3D at least, in the any near future. So.
What I really enjoy about this kind of car game is that it's very easy for you to make a content update.
Yeah.
Because you can just create a car in your mind, just add it, and that's it. And when you work with car manufacturers, you need to go the extra mile, have the licenses done, and so on. Yeah, this is something you can avoid, and that's very pleasant, I would say, in that way.
Yeah, and it's basically what we do is that we listen to customer feedback a lot. Basically, they compile a list of things that people hope to see in the game, and then we use those kind of. If they want to have a fire truck, okay, let's make a fire truck. It's not that complicated, but it's important, I think, to listen to the customers because they're the ones playing the game. So
definitely.
Yeah.
So far, so good. And how does?
Oh yeah, there's at least.
There is something.
It's there.
At least we can see it. Ah, there it is.
Where one man climbed hills alone for far too long. Ville is back, and he's not alone.
Welcome to Hill Climb Racing 2. It's bigger. It's better. And it's much, much, funner. With crazy customization. An insane multiplayer. Dominate the leaderboards. Become #1 in the world. Welcome to Hill Climb Racing 2.
All right, thank you.